everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. I am finally back home. I'm back home for a little bit, but the world tour, the road trip will continue soon. We have some surprises that we're going to announce because you guys loved it so much. I got so much great feedback about the road trip, okay? And talking to voters in swing states. So I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for joining us on all the platforms, and we're going to start. I'm going to take you through some of the things that you've seen, you may have seen, and you may not. And I want to share, quite honestly, some stuff what I heard on the road, okay? So that you can be prepared and that you can brace yourself for impact. And a lot of people have been saying, you know, Don, the stuff that you're sending me on social media is really scaring me. Like it's really, really, really making me nervous. So look, I don't really know what to tell you guys, except for it's a tough world out there and things may not be as they appear. And I don't know if you can, you know, what about the polling, if it's accurate, if it's not, but there's some concerning things. But let's start with the breaking news, okay? That's what we have prepared for you. We've got a lot prepared, so just stick with me. As a matter of fact, I think I need a beer. Tim! I want a beer or a cocktail or something because I need it on this Sunday evening. And if you have one, you can grab one too, okay? So here's the thing that we prepared. I just want to show you. This is the crowd, some of the crowd that is at MSG, Madison Square Garden. If you've seen it tonight, Donald Trump is having a rally there. Look at that. It is full to capacity, and I think there are people outside. Listen, he is saying it's 75,000 people. I got to tell you, Madison Square Garden holds about 19,500. It can hold 20,000 plus. So, you know, 75,000, I don't know where they're getting those crowd estimates, but the place only holds about 20,000 people. All right, so let's keep it real. Let's keep it honest. There are a lot of people there. I was stuck in traffic getting in because of this rally. But there was some really concerning things that I must play for you and I must show you happening at that rally. I watched the rally so that you don't have to, okay? I watched the rally so that you don't have to. First off, let me just show you what the former president is saying. You remember he had that whole thing about he didn't say that people were enemies and blah, 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 enemies you know, enemies from within, all of that. Well, he went right back to that same rhetoric tonight in Madison Square Garden. It was a very hateful rally, I have to admit. It was very hateful. Here it is.
Massive, vicious, crooked, radical left machine that runs today's Democrat Party. They're just vessels. In fact, they're perfect vessels because they'll never give them a hard time. They'll do whatever they want. I know many of them. It's just this amorphous group of people. But they're smart and they're vicious. And we have to defeat them. And when I say the enemy from within, the other side goes crazy, becomes a sound. Oh, how can he say? No, they've done very bad things to this country. They are indeed the enemy from within. And
okay, so remember everyone denied saying he did not say that. He didn't say he was gonna, you know, punish his political rivals. He didn't call people the enemy from within. And there he is admitting that it is the enemy, that he actually said those words. And he's owning those words. And I do have to clear something up too, okay? Because if you're on joining us from the YT, right, your comments will be up on the screen, hopefully. We'll get some of your comments up, but I am definitely going to respond to some of it. Because this whole idea that he has been saying, and I'm not here, you know, I'm not a spokesperson for the Harris campaign, but he has been saying, you know, Kamala Harris said that I was Hitler, that they're calling me Hitler, and folks are going with that. That's not really what is happening. That's not really what happened. They did not call him, she did not call him Hitler. She was quoting his own chief of staff, four-star general, right, in his staff, by saying, reporting what he said, and saying that he was akin to Hitler. Now, that's his own former chief of staff. He has been calling her a fascist forever, for quite some time. and calling her names for quite some time. Nikki, hit me up. Nikki, producer Nikki is here with me. If you have, before I go to the rest of the rally, if you have the soundbite of him calling her a fascist and calling her names. And I believe it was, I forget which program it was from. Oh, it's from ABC.
Who've been very critical of the generals, two of them
Here it
using
is.
the word fascist. Mitch McConnell and Secretary and Speaker Johnson have been very critical, saying this is inciting violence. How dare you call Donald Trump a fascist? Let me just play you a little bit about what Donald Trump has had to say about Kamala Harris.
The true divide in American politics today is between these far-left fascists led by Harris and her group. We have a fascist person running who's incompetent. She's a Marxist, communist, fascist, socialist. She's not actually a socialist. She's gone past that. Somebody's got to explain this woman. There's a radical left Marxist, communist, fascist.
And that's just a few of them.
Why don't you ask me, do I
That's
think...
just a few of them. And then he did not answer the question, Lindsey Graham. He didn't answer the question, Lindsey Graham. He said, why don't you ask me about what I think about her? But again, not directly answering the question. So Donald Trump is saying enemy from within. He is calling people fascists. He calls her Conrad Kamala, and he has nerve enough to run a commercial on television, an ad on television, condemning it, and the Speaker of the House and others condemning Kamala Harris for quoting a general. And in the meantime, he's using that language and has used it before. The hypocrisy in all of this, the sheer hypocrisy and ridiculousness and just how ludicrous it is that people actually buy into this and they actually believe it. And I have been hearing it across the country. Remember, for the convention, I went from here to battleground states, Jersey, not really a battleground state, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, on and on and on to the convention, and hearing misinformation. I'm looking up because we're also on TikTok tonight. We're live on TikTok tonight, and soon we will be live on all platforms for you, okay? So you'll be able to get us on all the social media platforms all together in unison. But I've been hearing this, there's so much misinformation out there. But let me tell you what some of the things that folks are believing. Those things are being said at podiums all across the country, including the very large podium tonight at Madison Square Garden. Disgusting things about Latino people, about immigrants. And if you think they're eating the cats and they're eating the dogs, if you think that's insulting, now this is supposed to be a rally that brings people together. That's supposed to bring his supporters together. It's supposed to bring the country together. Take a look. This is what they're saying, one of the speakers and others saying similar things about immigrants. Here it is.
Welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this. It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country. Republicans are the party with a good sense of humor.
Wow, not really. Now, that guy from Kill Tony, forget his name, Tony, whatever. Yeah, you're right, Courtney. You're right about that. I saw your comment, and I agree with you 150%. Demetrius Cephas says, hate speech. It is. It's not funny. We should not be speaking about immigrants like that. This is supposed to be a rally that's supposed to be bringing people together. Courtney says, this guy, OMG, I want to bomb it and fight. And can you imagine that these are the folks that could be in charge of the country? It's unbelievable. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, let folks know that you're here, because we're not off and on Sunday, but I'm gonna have to continue to do this on until the election. Again, as I said, we have some special stuff planned for you, for all of you on all of our platforms. We're gonna take you back onto the road. And I think we're trying to work it out that we're going to be on the road for election night in very key places rather than sitting in a studio. Let me know what you guys think about it. Let me know what you think on TikTok. Let me know what you think here, right on the tube, on YT. Let me know what you think. Because I think it's more interesting to be where voters are, and I think it's more interesting to be in a place that is going to make a difference in this election. New York is going to go blue no matter how many people Donald Trump puts into Madison Square Garden. It's going to go blue no matter what. Okay? Also said about not necessarily immigrants, these are Americans. These are Americans that he's speaking about. Now, this is how he speaks about, again, Latinos, Puerto Ricans. Listen to this.
Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. Again, normally I don't follow the national anthem, everybody. This isn't exactly a perfect comedy setup. There's some people here. All right. Very good. I like it. I have other policies that I think it should be implemented as well. Like me personally, I think football should.
Okay, again, a comedian, but that's who they had. Remember, now he said, normally I don't follow the national anthem. Now remember what he and others have been saying about the national anthem and Colin Kaepernick, that you're supposed to respect the national anthem, you're supposed to respect the flag. And so I would imagine someone who is following the national anthem, you would have someone who is more respectful than a tawdry comedian that's not funny. Now that comedian, Kill Tony, has one of the biggest, he's one of the biggest streamers out there. He's one of the biggest podcasts or whatever you want to call it, digital shows or streaming. He's one of the biggest in this space. And those are the folks that young people are listening to around the country, that young folks have been listening to around the country. And I'm going to show you some of them tonight. Nikki, I want the college student that told me that he listens to these kinds of podcasts. It was from a couple of days ago. And then I'll show you why it's important, why they had someone like that on. But that was not very respectful of the flag and not very respectful of the national anthem. Okay? Not only is he insulting, not only are they insulting immigrants there, they're also insulting the other side, the folks that they call enemy of the people. Now, this is going to be some salty language, but you've got to hear it. You got to. So I did this. I set up in my living room because you can see outside. We're in New York City. That's New York City in the background. That is the World Trade Center. You can see the spire on top there. I think you can see it. But that's the Freedom Tower behind us in the distance. This is now political enemies. It said, should political enemies, should anybody be prosecuting their political enemies? Joe Biden is prosecuting Donald Trump. Joe Biden has nothing to do with all the criminal charges against Donald Trump. Nothing, right? As a matter of fact, people think that it should have happened sooner, that Merrick Garland waited too long. Joe Biden has said the Justice Department is independent of him and he does not want to put his finger on the scale. But this is what they're saying. This is how they're speaking. Oh, no. Hold that thought. Sorry to ramble here. I screwed up. Hold that thought. Sorry to ramble. Okay? One more. Now, you tell me if this is racist. Again, it's a comedian. It's a comedian, but think about stereotypes, okay? Play it for me. This is a watermelon joke.
Heck yeah, it's a cool black guy with a thing on his head. What the hell is that, a lampshade? Look at this guy. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm just kidding. That's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome.
Okay, so what did you think? A watermelon. We carved some watermelons. Normally you carve pumpkins. Now, look, in a club, I don't know. I did not think it was appropriate. And as a person of color, I don't find that shit funny. I think some people are like too familiar. And look, the number one rules about comedy is that it has to be funny. That's just some dumb frat boy bullshit right there that they think is funny. They're always making black jokes or gay jokes. Like, they're obsessed with gay jokes. They're obsessed with men's private parts. Galaxy, yay, thank you. They're obsessed with men's private parts. Why are they? Why is that? There's some weird, like, repressed sexuality, homophobia, something going on with all of these folks, especially white comedians, male comedians. Like, what is it? This is where this is why this guy Kill Tony was invited. This is why the president has been going on podcast after podcast. This is why he went on Rogan, which we're going to talk about on Hot Topics tomorrow. Hey, thanks for that. I'm talking to TikTok, by the way, if you're wondering. That's why he is going on all these podcasts, because he's trying to appeal to the manosphere. And let me tell you guys, as I speak into the microphone, hear my voice, it is working. It is working. He has somehow energized and animated a demographic that does not typically vote, the demographic that is angry, the demographic who feels that they don't have a voice, even though they're white males in this society. They feel like they don't have a voice and that they're not being heard. They're not part of an underserved community. They're not a minority, but they feel like they're losing their place in society. Take a listen to this young man who was really indicative of a lot of young men, especially young white men across the country on college campuses. Listen.
For president, yeah.
For president. And how you feeling?
I'm going to be voting for Trump.
How you feel, though?
I'm feeling good.
What are your reasons? What are your policies? What are your issues?
Economy and just, yeah, probably for me, economy and the immigration crisis.
Immigration. What would you like to see? Why economy?
I just think that Trump has more ground in economy, which gives him the most experience in that, and it would improve his, I don't know, just like...
Where do you get your information? Where do you get news?
I try to stay away from mainstream media, more so like reading articles online and listening to podcasts, stuff like that.
Like what podcast?
I watch a lot of Rogan, Tim Pool, Steven Crowder, more conservative guys.
I'm shocked. Pause. Okay. Well, I think that was the end of it, right? He said he was raised conservative. Was that the end of it? I think that's the end of it. He says he's raised conservative. So sorry. All right. So here's the thing. Before he even said it, I already knew he was going to say it. That's why I was smiling, because of the things that was coming out of his mouth. Again, listen, that young man can vote for whoever he wants to, but I'm just telling you, it is a pattern out there. They're tapping into places where there are no editorial controls or no editorial standards that you have to reach. You can say anything. Nothing has to be factual. People buy into it. They believe all of it. Just like they believe this whole thing, they believe that freedom of speech is being able to come on. Nikki, you know where I'm going with this, right? Because I want you to show the freedom of speech guy. They think freedom of speech is being able to say whatever you want, anywhere you want, on any platform you want. That you can say whether it's true or not, whether it is harmful, hateful, whatever. They believe, wow, a lion. Thank you. They believe that they should be able to say whatever they want. And that's what freedom of speech is. That's what people who have owned these platforms have led people to believe, that if somehow there is content moderation on their platform, or they get kicked off, or they get muted, or they get banned, or they get, a strike or whatever, that somehow their freedom of speech is being inhibited. Freedom of speech has nothing to do with social media. These sites are private sites. They're privately owned. And you have to abide, all of us have to abide by their terms of services. Read the terms of services. There are certain things you can and cannot do, and you're not supposed to do. And so if you violate that, They can kick you off. I try to explain to people, it's like going to work. When you go into a building, you have to conduct yourself a certain way. No shoes, no service. And if you don't wear shoes or a shirt, you don't get service. It has nothing to do with the First Amendment, which is freedom of expression, freedom of the press, freedom of speech. It is, excuse me, absolutely nothing to do with that. When I say people don't understand the definition of freedom of speech has to do with the government not implementing or imposing laws that will restrict your freedom of speech, that will inhibit your freedom of speech. It has nothing to do with what you can say on a privately owned site or in a private place. You can go in the middle of the street and scream whatever you want, but guess what? If there is a noise ordinance that you have to be, or a loitering ordinance that you have to be off the street, or you can't be in the park or whatever at a certain time, you got to go by those rules. You got to go by those rules. Okay? You can't just say whatever you want. And so this young man, by the way, he's English, but he is also bought into this manosphere stuff. All of these websites, all of these podcasts, all of these streamers, they are right-wing streamers. They may tell you that they're centrist or, whatever. They are right-wing streamers, podcasters who believe that their freedom is being impinged upon and that they're the guys and they should be the head of the household, head of business, and be able to say whatever they want. I had to have this conversation so many times. Okay, here it is. Listen.
Would vote in America, who would you vote for?
Donald Trump.
You would. Tell me why.
I just think that this is the last opportunity for Republicans to win this election, because Kamala's letting so many immigrants in, and immigrants who she'll give the vote to vote Democrat.
Yeah. She's not letting immigrants in. She's not the president.
Well, yeah. Well, she's in control of the border.
No, she's not in control of the border.
Well, yes, she is.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is. That's her role as vice
No,
president.
that's not her role. That's what you've been hearing. That's not her role. Her role was to fix the countries around the border so that it would be an incentive for people not to come in. But she's not in charge of the border.
Well, even if
that's the Congress and the Senate.
Even if she isn't, if she becomes president, let's say she becomes president, it will be her role to control the border.
Yeah. And she said that she wants to control the border, and she wanted a very conservative. She wanted a very conservative, bipartisan bill that was thwarted by Trump and the Republicans. She wants to enact that to help the border and to get more resources to stop people from coming over and more border agents.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, it's kind of the opposite of what you're saying.
Well, it's not what we've been hearing.
Where are you listening?
Twitter.
X. I mean, okay. Do you know what X is happening with X now?
You tell me.
No, you tell me.
Well, it's free speech.
So what do you guys on TikTok
you know,
think?
free speech has nothing to do with social media.
So there you go. Wait, you pause it, Nick. You can let it go. That was just me talking by accident. Is that the end of it? Okay, I guess it's the end of it. But anyway, that is a conversation that I've been having with young men all over the country. And I think there was a longer one where we talked a little bit more about it, but that's what I've been hearing from everyone. Okay. That's what I've been hearing from everyone. Thank you, Nikki. Sorry, I had to get up. I needed to get me a beverage, and I think you guys know what that beverage is. It starts with a P and ends with a Aroni. I needed it for tonight, to having to deal with the kinds of things, honestly, that we don't usually see in Manhattan. Quite honestly, it's sort of a safe space. I have been seeing folks walking around Manhattan recently with MAGA hats on. I have been. But for the most part, it's a haven where you don't have to deal with all that crazy political stuff. People are very sensible and very reasonable. Right? Very sensible and very reasonable. Make sure you guys, please hit the thumbs up, hit the likes, hit the hearts, and make sure you subscribe and follow us. It affects the algorithm when you do that, when you do show us love on all of the platforms, and our content reaches more people. I'm playing a lot of the content that we got just from traveling over the past week. A lot of it you have not seen yet. So let's see what else is from this rally. I watched this rally. I actually listened to it on the ride with Tim driving. By the way, he was tired, and our Tim, oof, you were scaring me tonight as you were driving. I was trying to collect information for you guys. Okay. This is what we don't usually hear, and not about anybody, regardless of your political background. Thank you so much for that. Is that a violin or ukulele or whatever? This is what we don't usually hear. We don't usually hear language like this about people, especially about women, about any political opponent, right, left. Thank you, Carmen Quiones, for supporting independent media. I really appreciate that. Thank you. We need your support to stay streaming on the air, as they say, okay? We don't usually hear people talking like this. So this is one of the speakers at this rally tonight, which is like a convention, just saying really nice, lovely, beautiful things about Hillary Clinton. Here it is, and others.
She is some sick bastard, that Hillary Clinton, huh? What a sick son of a bitch. The whole fucking party, a bunch of degenerates, lowlives, Jew haters, and lowlives.
Okay. Look, y'all, who are watching on any of these platforms, do you guys remember Basket of Deplorables? That is worse and more hateful than any basket of deplorable comment that anyone could make. Did you hear everything that he called her? An SOB, you know, come on. This was a hateful cult MAGA rally tonight. And why are you guys buying into this? Not all of you. If it doesn't pertain to you, I'm not talking to you. But why are people buying into this mess? Why are people so hateful and so angry and so mean and so racist and sexist and bigoted? What is that? Why is it out in the open? Why have you allowed someone who opened up the floodgates of hatred and bigotry? I don't understand it. Now, Nikki, please back this up to the beginning, producer Nikki. I want you guys to hear, this is how they're speaking about women, and they're talking about, hey, you know, political opponents and jailing and all of this, and we need to tone the rhetoric down because this rhetoric caused the former president for, you know, an assassination attempt, and we're all worried about it. Have you seen the rhetoric on the MAGA side? Have you seen that rhetoric toned down? Let's start this soundbite from the beginning. Listen, everybody, real clear.
She is some sick bastard, that Hillary Clinton, huh? What a sick son of a bitch. The whole fucking party, a bunch of degenerates, lowlives, Jew haters, and lowlives. Every one of them. Every one of them.
Now, was that really warranted? Do you think that was really warranted? Do you think that was really warranted? What do you guys think about that? I'm not surprised that, well, I am surprised that this close to Election Day in New York City, that they are using language like that to talk about immigrants, women, migrants, fellow Americans, Puerto Ricans. Are you guys surprised by that? I wonder, okay, here's the thing. As I'm going on about immigrants, I just received word that Bad Bunny has endorsed Kamala Harris. He reposted her talking about Puerto Rico on his site. Now, if we had the split thing of her talking about Puerto Rico and then the way they spoke about Puerto Rico tonight, Nikki, please play it. I thought that I sent it to you earlier. I could be wrong. But she spoke, it was a split screen of her talking and him talking, or someone at the rally speaking. And I was just shocked and surprised. It could have been from Kamala HQ. Shocked and surprised that they are speaking that way about immigrants. And others. So close to Election Day. What are there? 9 days till election? Even the folks, we have more Trump supporter, MAGA supporters on TikTok. Even the MAGA supporters, are you surprised by this? Are you like it? Is it owning the libs? Are you worried? Are you concerned? Because this election is going to be won on the margins. 450,000. Did you hear me? 450,000 Puerto Ricans in Philly alone. I don't know about the entire state of Pennsylvania, but there are 450,000 there. And believe me, they're going to be moved by folks like Bad Bunny and others. I know they say, hey, people aren't moved by stars. Look at how many people Taylor Swift got to sign up. And a lot of those people, trust me, they're not in focus groups and they're not in that polling. Watch how many people are going to listen in Philadelphia, which if Kamala Harris wins Pennsylvania, that's all the money. That's all the marbles. 450,000. 450,000. We have the soundbite, but I want you to see it. I just want you to see the difference. And what were they thinking when they had a comedian come up this evening and do what he did and say what he said about immigrants? I just don't get it. And time after time, I heard people around the country repeating some of that stuff, not only about immigrants, but also about January 6th. Okay? This is what Bad Bunny, one reason he said, you know what, I'm going to support Kamala Harris. Look at how they're talking about Puerto Ricans. Because of this is what he retweeted, the difference between the two. Watch this. Do we have it? Oh, the system is frozen. We have too many sound bites in the system, according to producer Nikki. It's okay. Let me know when it's back up. Whatever it is, Nikki, you have played, I'll talk about it. If it unfreezes. How do you guys feel about that TikTok as you were watching? How do you feel about that YT as you're watching here? To the comments. Wow, you guys are in the comments tonight. Holy schmoly. Holy cow. How do you guys feel? Don, you're getting your drink on. LOL, says Suzuki. No, I needed it. I'm telling you. Vote blue, says Andrew Collins. I'm telling you. Brittany KO1 says, sadly, many Puerto Ricans will vote for the orange clown. But Puerto Ricans aren't immigrants. No, I said that they were citizens, but also I talked about immigrants. Of course I know that. But guess who may not know that? And that's some of the MAGA folks. They may think that Puerto Ricans are immigrants. I've seen it. It's just a disgrace, says Doris Jameson. I feel like I want to cry. I'm so pissed. Listen, guys, I got to tell you, a lot of people have been saying, thank you, Ron, for supporting independent media. I hope Christians, Hispanics, and any other ethnic groups see this prior to voting for the traitor named Trump. I will tell you, it is eye-opening. I won't say surprising. I won't say whatever. The people are telling me, man, your content, the stuff that you've been sending on TikTok, the stuff that you've been sending on the gram, the stuff that you have been sending on FB, on Twitter, they're saying, oh my gosh, your stuff is scaring me. On the YT, of course. And it should be. Oh, we have Dr. Phil, Ron Green. I'm going to play some Dr. Phil for you. Don't cry, says Diana B. Vote. I spoke to a cow, someone who had a cow head on in Philadelphia, who said that he's supporting Trump. He was out there talking to people. I'm not sure why he's out there talking to people in a cowhead. And I told him, don't move, vote. Krista Leanna Carter says, I am losing sleep. I'm even losing some weight, but Trump will be the biggest loser in November. Okay, I hope we'll see. The polls are scary. Waiting for Nikki to get her computer up. Darlena Williams, thank you for supporting independent media. Is he trying to lose this election on purpose so he can watch his cult react? I don't know. No, I don't think that. So the difference between the two candidates on speaking about immigrants and speaking about Puerto Rico.
You know, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah, I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico is home to some of the most talented, innovative, and ambitious people in our nation. And Puerto Ricans deserve a president who sees and invests in that strength. I will never forget what Donald Trump did and what he did not do when Puerto Rico needed a caring and a competent leader. He abandoned the island, tried to block aid after back-to-back devastating hurricanes, and offered nothing more than paper towels and insults. And now Donald Trump promises to be even more extreme, talking about using the military against his political enemies and being a dictator on day one. Puerto Ricans deserve better. As president, I will always fight for you and your families, and together we can turn the page and chart a new and a joyful way forward.
Now, which message would you go with? Which message is one of hope? The one on the left, where he's saying it's a floating pile of garbage in the ocean? Or the one on the right, the woman who says, I'm not going to abandon you? I'm not going to abandon you. I'm going to take care of you. Which one? Which one? My producers are sending me things. We've been talking about the rhetoric. One of my producers says, from the MSG rally stage, Donald Trump called Pat Buchanan a hot item who had an unbelievable career. Back in 1999, Trump referred to Buchanan as a Hitler lover, an anti-Semite, and someone who doesn't like the blacks and doesn't like the gays. When people will say anything to win, you must be suspicious of them. There's so many people in the Republican Party. People who say, hey, I'm not going to run against you. I was in your administration, and then they run against him. He's the worst person on earth, and if he is in the thing, in the campaign, then our party will certainly lose. 5 minutes later, I'm here to campaign for you, Mr. Trump. Y'all know who I'm talking about. We'll say anything to win except that the Civil War was fought because of slavery. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But there are so many of those in the Republican Party, which is the MAGA party right now. So many of them. Thank you all. I can't even, for all the people who are supporting us tonight. I really, really thank you for that. Thank you, Dynamic Doll. Love will win. I love you, Don, and appreciate you very much. I appreciate you, Dynamic Doll, as well. Thank you for supporting independent media. It means the world to us. It helps us to stay on the air. Thank you, Michelle, as well. It means the world to us. It helps us to stay streaming. We really appreciate it. And it also helps us to be able to do what? To go on those fantastic trips in to hear from people like you. Wow, Renata McComber, you're amazing. Thank you for supporting independent media. I want to support what you are doing, and I appreciate you. Oh my gosh. You guys are going to make me cry. Thank you guys so much. Are you guys enjoying what we're doing? Is it making a difference? Sometimes you don't even like, thank you, Darlena Williams. I appreciate it. Sometimes you guys don't like what I'm saying. And when I tell you, I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm not here to gas you up and give you false hope and lie to you about things. If you want the truth, come here. If you want people to gas you up, go to other places that only are, like everything they post and everything they put up is I hate Donald Trump, I hate Donald Trump, I hate Donald Trump, I hate Donald Trump, I hate Donald Trump. Look how bad he is, look how bad he is, look how bad he is, look how bad it is. I know how bad he is. You know how bad he is. And I'm going to have to tell you how bad he is sometimes. But I'm also going to have to what? Highlight what the good candidate is doing. I'm also going to have to highlight sometimes how poorly I believe some of the campaign has been run. How I believe, quite honestly, that they should have come out stronger. Thank you for the galaxy and for the world thing. Thank you for the witch and Halloween thing, TikTok. Thank you, Winky Campbell. I love you. Thank you for the generous support of independent media. How I believe, and listen to me very closely, okay? You guys know who I support. You know that. I think that they should have let her do press conferences and go out and speak to the media a lot sooner and just to be her. I think, hear me clearly, that they have been running her campaign like she is a white woman trying to appeal to black people, when she is a black person who knows the black community. And perhaps they should be taking cues from her rather than the other way around. She should be dropping in. She should be dropping in on the Don Lemon show. She should be dropping in on our socials. She should be going over and saying hi and doing a couple minutes with my friend Tamron Hall. She should be on the Joy Reid show. She should be with Roland Martin. She should be on Club Shay Shay. She should not be sort of marginalizing her campaign, meaning black media, to like some corner or fringe thing. Don't make us a niche. Make us part of the overall thing. There are lots of people. When I was in broadcast media or cable media or corporate media, I was part of the mainstream media. It wasn't black media. It was tough for us because they felt like, oh, we can't just do the black people, whatever. And we're black. They're going to look like we're just black, right? She was on Roland Martin. Yes, I'm not saying that she wasn't on any of these things. I'm saying she should be doing more of them. I'm with you guys. I know that she's doing Club Shay Shay. It shouldn't be a big deal. Like, oh my God, she needs to do Joe Rogan. She needs to be doing us too, all of us, in supporting us. Look at what the other side is doing. There is nothing, no trap, nothing laid, nothing that anybody can say that's going to trip her up or F her up more than what the folks are doing on that stage at Madison Square Garden. Hit the throttle. Go for it. And don't run away from it. This is how I feel when someone says, oh, well, you know, at a press conference or whatever, you called, Donald Trump Hitler. Well, first of all, I didn't call Donald Trump Hitler. What I was doing was responding to something, a quote from a general, John Kelly, and from his former chief of staff, the longest serving chief of staff. And he wants people to stop calling names. Do you know what he calls me? Get the F out of here. Give me an effing break. Give me a damn break. She needs to have that kind of energy right now. That's what I want. That's me. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm just saying, and y'all know who I support. So thank you, Mesa Mesa, for supporting independent media. You're the best. Let me thank all of the folks, because it's really, I think it's amazing that you guys are doing this. Thank you, Michelle Lord. I support you in what you're doing. Love this. Kamala, obviously, keep speaking truth to power. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't think that there's anything, Cynthia Sandoval, thank you. Amazing reporting, thank you. I don't think that there's anything right now that she can do to turn folks off. I think she can only turn people on, and especially if she comes out like a boss. I think that can only turn folks on even more. That's how I feel about it. I lost my comments, guys. How did I do that? I'm trying to read your comments, and I don't know what happened. Let's see if they come back. Let me get back on track here. There they are. Okay. I was trying to get in there to thank everybody because you guys are being so generous tonight. I don't know if TikTok is being as generous as you guys here on the YT. Women outnumber the men. Tsunami has begun. Dan Sabo, look, I agree with you. I think that is going to be the big difference. And I think that women are going to come through in droves. That's where we're going to see all of this happening. It's going to be the women that aren't being really reported, that aren't being picked up in focus groups, who aren't being picked up in polling, or who are just quietly sitting by going, Women like my mom. My mom's like, okay. Yeah, polling, I see. I'm out here in these here streets, and these women are not playing. I hope and pray that it is. Okay? I hope and pray that it is. Okay. So that's how they're talking about women. That's how they're talking about immigrants. That's how they're talking about all the things is what they're doing. All the things. And this is how they're speaking about her. Again, the folks who are on that stage tonight at Madison Square Garden. This is how they're speaking about a sitting vice president. This is one of their main spokespeople, probably the biggest, probably bigger than J.D. Vance. He's the next under Trump. Maybe, yeah. This next person. This is how he's speaking about a sitting vice president. Ladies and gentlemen, Tucker Carlson.
It's going to be pretty tough for them 10 days from now to look in the eye to America with a straight face. It's going to be pretty hard to look at us and say, you know what? Kamala Harris, she got 85 million votes because she's just so impressive. As the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former California prosecutor ever to be elected president, it was just a groundswell of popular support. And anyone who thinks otherwise is just a freak or a criminal. At this stage of the game, after 9 years of listening to their lies and finding every single one of them totally false, no, it's not safe and effective, and no, she's not impressive. It's very hard for me to believe the rest of us are going to say, you know what, Joe Scarborough, you're right. You're right. She won fair and square because she's just so impressive. I don't think so. And to me, that is liberation. It's the freedom to say what's obviously true as a free man and not a slave. And I just want to say thank you, Donald Trump, for that.
Okay, that was part of the hateful rally rhetoric at the Donald Trump MAGA cult rally, which was a convention tonight at MSG, Madison Square Garden. What y'all think of that? Basically, they're saying, look, this woman, she's not qualified. Even though she's the vice president of the United States. Even though she is a former U.S. senator. Even though she's an attorney general. Even though she went to law school and was an attorney. Even though she was a prosecutor. Even though she's the sitting vice president of the United States, who has way more fucking experience than Donald Trump. Who actually, if she was running a business, is probably a better business person than Donald Trump. Remember, if Donald Trump had just put his money in the stock market and saved it, he would be a much wealthier person than he is now. How is that a good businessman? And don't act like you don't know. Talk to some people who live here in New York. Talk to some business experts and analysts. They will tell you. Thank you, Sharon Howard. I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting independent media. It's important that we support each other, especially right now. You guys, I got to tell you, if there's anybody in your life, I don't know, did you hear the former First Lady, Michelle Obama, yesterday? Did you guys hear her? I mean, she laid it out. I mean, laid it out. I think Nikki's computer is down. I would love to. I forgot about that. And if not, we'll just do it for Hot Topics tomorrow. And we'll compare and contrast. The former First Lady, I was sitting there listening to her. I sat in the car, and then I realized, well, I can get this on my phone. I was sitting in the car in the driveway listening to her. And then I realized Well, hell, I can put this on my phone and take it into the house. I just don't have to listen to it on Sirius in my car. Phenomenal. So where I was going with that is if you have people in your life and they need a little talking to, a little straightening out, straighten them out, talk to them. Okay? Straighten them out and talk to them, is what the former First Lady said. And tell them how a woman's right and women's reproductive rights, tell them how it affects them. I know it's weird that I'm looking up because I have the TikTok camera above me and it looks weird, like I'm looking off in the space, but I'm not. But tell them, men especially, how you're affected by that. Okay? So basically saying she's not qualified, she's not qualified. She's a woman, she's not qualified. She's black. She's not impressive. Who is Donald Trump impressive? Impressive what? Impressive who? He's not impressive at all. The guy rambles. They say she rambles. Okay, does she? Yeah. But she answers the questions more than Donald Trump. He is, if she's word salad, he's a word smorgasbord, a word buffet. It's just everything on the menu. And the thing that gets me is how stupid can people be? The same people who are out there saying, there were some of those college students and young men, white young men saying, and even some black folks saying, well, I want her to more, I need some more specifics on her policies. She doesn't really answer that well. Let me tell you about how you have such double standards for her than you do for him. And you can't even see it. You don't even see your own bias. Because if you say to her that she needs to answer more succinctly and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then Donald Trump comes up with this whole thing about, hey, I call it the weave. Basically, he is telling you, he is admitting to you that he is rambling. That's why he calls it the weave. Y'all are to fall for the okie doke every time. For the MAGA folks who believe that. Yeah, the weave, I like that. He weaves in and out. That's called rambling, dummies. That's what rambling is. He might have a weave. And you know where the weaves are. But you guys let him get away with that rambling. Don't get me going on that, because I can go all night on the double standard that you have. Well, double standard. Hit the like, hit the thumbs up, hit the hearts, follow us on TikTok, subscribe to us on YT. It's free, all of it. And check out our content. We have so much content from this week. The double standard about what does she get accomplished as vice president? Oh man, I wish I had the guy from the salon. Nikki, I know you probably can't get it. Darn it. What did she get accomplished as vice president? And then I tell him, give me a Mike Pence accomplishment as vice president. Give me Joe Biden. I'm just going on the list. Joe Biden before that. Thank you, Thomas Paine. Give me a Joe Biden accomplishment as vice president. Now, as vice president, he may have had more influence, or not may have, he had more influence than certainly Mike Pence. The reason is because as a senator, he had so much foreign policy experience, and that's why Barack Obama chose him. Okay? Now, is there an accomplishment that goes with that? No, but he's a good advisor behind the scenes. That is an accomplishment. And from what I understand from this administration, so is Kamala Harris behind the scenes. Also, she has cast the most tie-breaking votes in the history of the country as vice president. Tell me what Dick Cheney accomplished as vice president. Some people believe he was a president and that he was doing whatever, that Bush was doing whatever he said. Tell me when he was vice president what Al Gore accomplished. Now, he said he invented the interwebs, the internet. That was afterwards. So, but tell me what the George Bush 1 accomplished as vice president. What? Tell me. But then everyone's like, well, she didn't, what was her accomplishments as vice president? Stop being sexist. Stop being biased. Stop being a bigot. Stop having double standards. Stop looking for reasons. Stop looking for a permission structure to support your dude. Stop listening to talking points and listening to conservative media who are coming up with shit to say to you, and then you just parrot it back. Economy. What about the economy? The rent is high. Well, how much are you paying for rent? Oh, I don't know. Well, you don't know because you're a college student. You're not paying it. So you're parroting what you've heard. Taxes are up. That's what I hear all the time. Oh, really? Because Trump taxes don't expire until 2025. So the taxes that you're complaining about are actually Donald Trump's taxes. Ta-da! See how that works? Well, it's freedom of speech. You heard that from some tech billionaire? From the guys who, are on social media, people who want to be able to be bigots on social media? Is that what you heard? Because freedom of speech has nothing to do with social media. Zip zilcho. Saying that to get you fired up, to get you to stay on their platform, to get you to be able to continue to listen to misinformation and to spread it. Before you open every day, I believe that, what would be a great thing? Before you open social media every day, whenever you click onto it, there should be a definition of what freedom of speech is. Freedom of speech says that the government shall not enact or whatever it is, right, that impinges on your freedom of speech. Freedom of speech has nothing to do with social media. You have to conduct yourself in a certain way if you want to come on this site. Otherwise, we can kick you off, and that is not impinging on your freedom of speech. You want to be able to say something? Go stand on your balcony, like outside of my door, and go yell. You're free to say anything. Go write an op-ed for the newspaper. Go call your friend. You can say it. But if you want to be on this platform, then you must conduct yourself accordingly. I'm just saying, don't get it twisted. I hate to be the bearer of truth news, not bad news, but truth news. Okay? Of truth news. Let me just play this. I'm going to play this because my producer sent it. Pat Buchanan was a great man. It's a great man. I'm just going to play this on the microphone. Let me see if I can get this to work. Okay, here we go. This is Donald Trump talking about Pat Buchanan, on the stage tonight. He's a great man. He's blah, blah, blah. This is what he said about Pat Buchanan not so long ago.
Tomorrow, Pat Buchanan is announcing that he will be a candidate for the presidency on the Reform Party.
I just think it's ridiculous. I mean, he wrote a book because, look, he's a Hitler lover. I guess he's an anti-Semite. He doesn't like the blacks. He doesn't like the gays. It's just incredible that anybody could embrace this guy.
You guys will fall for anything. Oh my gosh. Come on now. Come on. Okay, let's get back to the rally at Madison Square Garden. This guy who was a Oprah, where would he be without Oprah? Where would he be without Oprah? I wonder how Oprah feels about this now. Because this was an Oprah discovery. And now he just goes off on some bigoted shit, man. Dr. Phil, the ambassador now for anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion. Here he is on the stage at Madison Square Garden.
We didn't choose the name for that by random. Merit Street Media. This country was built on hard work, added value, and talent, not on equal outcome, not on DEI. This country was built on hard work.
So and beyond, there was more than that he said tonight, okay? There was more than that he talked about. And it's like, yeah, a country, of course it was built on hard work. And you know whose hard work it was built on? for the most part, on the backs of slaves and black people. And now immigrants. And now immigrants who are coming into the country and who are doing the hard work. Yes, of course, there are people of all ethnicities who are doing hard work. I met a guy now who said he was a lineman for the electric company. I met him on the steps of the Art Museum in Philadelphia just the day before yesterday. Or was it yesterday? Day before yesterday. But if you really want to know who built this country, you say, oh, this country was built on hard work. Yeah, Dr. Phil, hard work of black slaves, of African slaves, of people who are what? The ancestors to Kamala Harris, black people, African Americans, African people, people whose ancestors came to America and Jamaica. That's what this country was built on, Dr. Phil. I wish I would, oh man. Someone, and no one will tell them that. Come on, Dr. Phil. You know better. Get your shit together, man. Stop talking bullshit about people. Stop being so racist. Guess who else was on that stage? You guys know him and you love him. This was a rogues gallery of speakers. A rogues gallery. Mainly men, some women. You know, Lara Trump, Alina Habba, his attorney. I don't think I saw Ivanka, though. But let me just say, this was a rogues gallery of people saying the most vile things. So this guy has had to talk about a fall from grace. This guy has had to declare bankruptcy. This guy has had all of his valuable possessions taken away from him. This guy has been embarrassed publicly. This guy, I don't know if there's jail time for him possibly, but I don't know. This guy has had his luxury penthouse in Manhattan seized by the government to pay back election workers who he defamed on the lie of election fraud in a stolen election in 2020. Another court finding showing there is no election fraud. The election was not stolen, yet the MAGAs, the MAGATs, believe it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. former Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
Have to be there for Israel always because they are always there for us. Hamas is not there for us. Iran is not there for us. They want to kill us. And the Palestinians are taught to kill us at 2 years old. They won't let a Palestinian in Jordan. They won't let a Palestinian in Egypt. And Harris wants to bring them to you. They may have good people. I'm sorry, I don't take a risk with people that are taught to kill Americans at 2. I'm on the side of Israel. You're on the side of Israel. Donald Trump's on the side of Israel. And they're on the side of the terrorists.
Rudy. Do you guys feel bad for Rudy Giuliani? I mean, he's a grown-ass man, but I'm just saying, do you feel bad for him? Because I don't think he really can't. Can he back away from this now? I think it's his only thing. I think it's the only thing. Does he really? Do you feel bad for him? In his old age, he should be enjoying it. He should be enjoying his life. And yet and still, oh boy. I remember when I first moved to New York, David Dinkins was the mayor, and then there was an election for Rudy Giuliani, and it was really contentious, and people were concerned, and they were like, "You can't. This guy, he's so bad for minorities. He's like, he was he state's attorney or something like that? He was a prosecutor, and he became mayor of New York City, and there was lots of consternation, especially from minorities, Black and Latino, and immigrant community, because they said that he was racist and that he was not fair and was locking up Black people at an alarming rate. And then, you know, that's when you got all the broken windows things, and people were like, oh, that's when stop and frisk and all that came about. Rudy Giuliani. This is, I think we did. We ran the enemy. Did we run the enemy soundbite from the president? I think we did. This sums up, though, I think the day and the time that we're in. I want you guys to pay real close attention to it. This is from the Lincoln Project. Here it is.
Wir versprechen Ihnen, dass wir die Kommunisten, Marxisten, Faschisten und die linksradikalen Verbrecher, die wie Ungeziefer in unserem Land leben, ausrotten werden. Aber wir holen sie nicht aus den verseuchten Ländern. Ich weiß nicht, ob man sie Menschen nennen kann. In einigen Fällen sind es meiner Meinung nach keine Menschen, sondern Tiere. Sie vergiften das Blut unseres Landes. Wir werden die größte Abschiebeaktion durchführen. Wenn ich nicht gewählt werde, wird es ein Blutbad geben. Ich bin eure Vergeltung. Ich möchte nur einen Tag lang Diktator sein.
So here's what I feel like. I feel like we spend a whole lot of time, you know, I feel like we've spent, I don't think that we do here as much, but the media spends a whole lot of time just sort of following what Donald Trump does, did not really learn their lesson from 2016 and even 2020. And so, and he sort of sets the narrative, you know, Kamala Harris isn't Black, all that stuff, and fall for it. I don't want to fall for that here. I don't want to fall for that here. And so that's why I go out and I talk to people. Now, this is when I said people believe the conspiracy theories about Antifa, about immigrants, about January 6th, because they buy into the stuff and they do not go outside of their media bubble. Now, this is a man that I spoke to and his wife in front of the US Capitol. In front of the US Capitol. And one of the questions I asked him about a lot more, but one of the questions I asked him about was about January 6th. Listen.
Ask you, since we're having such a great conversation, what did you think of January 6th happening right here?
I wasn't here, but I mean, I think it's sad that they're holding these people and they're letting in murderers and terrorists, and these people are done misdemeanors. What do? They welcomed them into the place. Pelosi welcomed them all in.
Pelosi welcomed them in?
Exactly, her and her leaders. They said they didn't want any the police patrol. No, we're okay.
That wasn't under her purview.
Wasn't under her. I thought she was head of the Speaker of the House.
Well, see, that goes back to conservative media again. I heard like 2 days before January 6th, like January 4th, Case Patel and President Trump said, let's get troops in there, National Guard troops.
You don't think that people should be prosecuted for breaking into the Capitol?
Prosecuted? I think they've done more than their time for a misdemeanor. Breaking in, they didn't break in, they welcomed them in. Yeah, let's get the truth.
Waved them in.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the video? Did you see them beating police officers with flagpoles?
No, that was set up. They let Antifa in, all these people to start these riots.
Yes.
All of the people who were broke into the Capitol, you think were Antifa?
That broke in?
Broke in? I would say yes.
It's all set up, just like Antifa. They send in the people to start these riots and wars, and then the whole crowd's going to join in. That's bum rush to.
Okay. Now, listen, Antifa is not like an organized group, right? Antifa is like, it's called anti-fascists. That's what the whole thing is about. I'm not making any excuses for anything that Antifa has done, but Antifa is like the new Black Panthers. When that was a thing back in the day, when the new Black Panthers were like 4 people that would go stand at polling places, like 1 or 2 polling places. And then Fox News and conservative media made them out to be this whole big thing. Look, it's the new Black Panthers, and they're a terror to the world. They're going to stop you from voting. And blah, blah, blah. Same thing. It's all Antifa, Antifa, Antifa. Yo, how does that make sense? Think about this. If the person who Antifa wanted to win, if you think that was Antifa, then why would they be breaking into the Capitol to overturn the election? Why would they be breaking into the Capitol to overturn an election if their person was the person that actually was the winner? And where is Antifa now? It's not an organized giant group of people. It's like, do you guys remember like the anarchists that used to go around? Do not get it twisted. I've been on here look, I have some more stuff I want to show you. If you want me to show you, I'll show you. I'll show you some stuff, okay? Before we get out of here, I'll show you some stuff. Also concerning people who are saying that they are not voting. Here's a student. You got to vote, students. Here's a student. You're going to vote.
Man, this year's... I can't even talk about this year. This year's so confusing, and both of the presidential... I just can't.
Both of the candidates you just can't?
Yeah, I can't.
What do you mean by that?
There's bad or badder, so I can't like choose, and I don't want to vote and then vote wrong.
Yeah. So if you had to make a choice, like if you had to, who would it be?
Harris.
Why is that?
Cause she's not as bad as Trump. I don't know. That's why I'm not voting this year, because I'm also not as educated this year as I was in the past elections. So.
But you know, it's your right? It's your civic duty and it's your constitutional right. And if by not voting, you're actually voting.
True. I'm not sure. I also don't know like the sides, because there's so much into it that I don't know. I need to educate myself more before I actually vote.
You think you might do it?
Yeah.
You said you weren't,
if I educate myself more, yeah.
If you educate yourself?
Yeah.
So maybe I convince you to go vote.
You can, yeah.
I have?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
He was not the only one. There were a number of people the same way who said that they were not voting, that they were concerned. Well, not because they believed that they didn't know enough. One young man, I said, but aren't you a college student? Aren't you supposed to do research? You do homework? He goes, yeah, but I just don't know. Look, I don't get it, because when I was in college, I certainly voted. When I was young, I certainly voted, okay? Another young lady who, what do you guys think about third-party candidates? The Jill Steins and Cornel Wests of the world. Now, I don't know Jill Stein, but I do know Cornel West, and I love Cornel West. He's a friend. He's a good brother. I just think in this day and time, there's so much on the line. I don't want people throwing away their votes. But people have their opinions. It's America. It is a democracy. I ran into one lady who made her case for Jill Stein. Here it is. Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I voted.
You voted early?
I voted.
Yeah?
Yeah, I voted for Jill Stein.
You did?
Yes, Green Party.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we
No,
don't.
you know, people are going to say, "Oh my gosh, you're wasting your vote." Yeah, that means another Donald Trump win. What do you say to that?
Do we live in a democracy or not?
Do you actually think she has a chance to win?
I think with our two-party system, not necessarily, but electorally, yes. My realistic thing is I'm not voting for genocide. So, like, that's what Kamala and Trump are, right?
Well,
what I hate is genocide, and what I hate is capitalism, and what I hate is seeing marginalized people oppressed. Yeah. So when is the time for us to stand up and say enough is enough? Like, what is your red line?
Well, I think that you work with the person who actually has a real chance of winning, and then the more reasonable person, even though they may not agree 100% with what you believe, I believe politics is like public transportation, right? You want to get in a limo and you want to be delivered to your address.
when actual politics and living in a democracy is actually the person that gets you closest to where you want to go, rather than having someone deliver to your front door, which is never, ever going to happen.
I just think if the delivery car is fascism, like, aren't we doomed either way? I don't know. I just think the whole system needs to be uprooted, and in order for politicians to serve the people, they need to listen to the people.
But you've already voted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't
I
matter.
voted early because I'm.
Well, let me just say, the delivery car in America is not fascism. It's actually democracy. Now, it is not the democracy that people would like, because people would like our democracy, really, most people would like our democracy to get rid of the Electoral College, because they don't believe that it is a fair system, that it's not that everybody's vote should count equally and it should be the majority in this country. But the delivery car is not fascism. But the delivery car, here's the odd thing, it could be fascism if Donald Trump is elected. It could be fascism. So certainly fascistic language. He certainly has shown affinity and has spoken highly of fascist leaders. So the delivery car could end up being fascism because she voted for a person who does not have a chance to win. That's the irony in all of this. Is it throwing your vote away? This is a democracy. You can vote whatever way you want. You can write someone in. You can write someone in. I went to vote today. I almost wrote someone in because there is one senator, I shouldn't say that, that I just don't agree with, that I did not want to vote for. And I was like, I wish there was someone else. I wish there was someone else, but I had to make a choice between two people. And it hurt me. I was like, oh, I can't stand this person, and just like how much they, how grifty they are, how they sort of go with the wind, how they get rid of people like Al Franken. That really ticked me off when they did that, because they were so, eager to, so holier than thou, that they got rid of a really, really strong voice in the Senate. Because they're so holier than thou, and people are like, they had to like, what's the word I'm looking for? They just had to be so holier than thou. If I do this or whatever, I'm gonna lose my feminist card. I'm gonna do that. Virtue signaling. They had to do that. So you got rid of Al Franken. You got rid of a really strong voice. You actually screwed up the Senate in your voice because you wanted to virtue signal about something that Republicans, you know what they would do? They'd be like, we support our guy, blah, blah. It'll be out of the news cycle in 5 minutes. So I was like, God, how can I vote for this person? I can't stand, I hate it when people throw each other away, especially when it is an ally. Okay? Because I don't agree with, as I say, with everything my own mother does. I don't agree with a lot of things that people do, but I know who my allies are. And I know that sometimes people do dumb things. They say dumb things. They say things, and whatever. But does that mean that their whole being is that? Should their entire reputation and resume be thrown away by one silly thing? Why aren't you looking at the overall picture? It's infuriating to me. So when I see people voting against their own interests, like look, this young lady can vote for whoever she wants. I don't want to shame her. I think she's voting against her own interests. I think anybody who does a third-party vote at this point is voting against their own interests. I think they're throwing their vote away. This is not time for a protest vote, because there are only two people who have the possibility of winning. And those other people who are standing in the way should get out of the way. When I hear people, and I'm just going to be honest with you, okay? I hear you on Gaza. I hear you. I feel you. I also feel my Jewish brothers and sisters. I feel them too. And I want you to listen to me closely. And because there's nuance in it. It's not just We think that we can't, that one thing has to be one thing and the other thing has to be the other thing, that we can't hold multiple thoughts and feelings about things and that we can't be conflicted. But when I hear people yelling on the stage at Kamala Harris about her stance on Gaza, it's like, okay, I understand what you're saying. I get it. But out of the two people who are there and have the possibility of winning, and who has the possibility of you being able to reasonably work with and get your point across and have them to be able to do the thing that you want them to do, which one of those people is most likely to do that? Then why are you screaming at them 9 days before an election? It's giving me 2016, when the Black Lives Matter folks were screaming at Hillary Clinton and yelling at her at public events. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? And look, what are you doing? And then what happened? Bernie Bros and all those people, what happened? You know what happened? You ended up with protesters for police violence and the death of a man by a police officer. You ended up with a person in office who gassed them in front of the White House. What are you doing? You want to end up with Donald Trump there, who's going to say, I don't give a shit about what you say about Gaza. I'm the one who moved the embassy. I don't really care about your woke whatever. I don't care. And you're screaming at Kamala Harris? Are you out of your mind? What is wrong with you? Grow up. I understand your feelings. Yes. You know what? I would like people to pay more attention to what's happening in Africa, in Sudan, and other places in the world where there's unrest. But I'm not going to yell at my ally on a stage when they are trying to win an election that is just days away. What is wrong with you? Wake up, grow up. Who do you think, if you are sitting in the Oval Office, if you're sitting at a meeting or whatever, and who do you think you have more of a chance with to make an impact, to hear you? Is it Donald Trump or is it Kamala Harris? Because Jill Stein ain't going to be president. And by the way, Jill Stein reportedly is a Russian asset, reportedly is being paid by Russia. Like, what? I was young once. But this is not time to play around. This is not time for a protest vote. This is not a time to be shouting down your allies. This is not a time for that. This is not a time for you to say, I'm not voting. This is not a time for you to say it's the lesser of two evils. I don't think Kamala Harris is evil. As a matter of fact, I know she's not evil. And as a matter of fact, I know as a politician who's trying to run in a general election that she has to try to be all things to all people. And I've said that you can't do that. But there are certain things that she can say. And she may say, well, I support this. She's telling you, she's signaling to you how she feels. But to thwart her chances to even get in there to show you how she feels is just, it's mind-boggling to me. It's the same thing as the former first lady saying, you get over your anger and your about this, because women need you right now, men, brothers, they need you. Get it? Because your feelings are hurt, that I'm not being heard enough. You're a man in general. Men are heard much more. They have more of a say in society, and women outnumber us. You don't have a say, white men? Are you kidding me? The whole country is based around you on laws that you created. On land that was what? Taken from the Native Americans by you. I don't mean you specifically, but I mean by Europeans, by your people. And you don't have a say in society? Really? Okay. Fine, if you believe that. But get over your hurt feelings and understand what is at stake. If all of you people are upset about, hey, you know, I can't vote for her just because she's a woman, I do this, your hurt feelings, then you're going to end up with possibly the person that you love or someone that you are in a situation with. Maybe there's an unintended pregnancy that you had. Either the person is going to bleed out or is going to be on the verge of dying or getting really sick or having a miscarriage because she can't get the treatment that she needs. Any of those things. Or that you are, as the first lady said, you know, look, I'm just going to be honest. My mom got pregnant. I don't think I wrote about this as a young girl. Her dad, this was back in the 40s. Her dad told, in the 50s, excuse me, late 50s. Her dad said, you don't have to marry him. But her mom, my grandmother, said, you know, you got to be traditional. You're supposed to be married and you do all these things, whatever. And then you basically are a child with a child. And then your husband or your baby daddy is also in college or younger, at high school, college, or whatever. And then your future is in jeopardy, or it becomes harder because of a mistake. Not even a mistake. That's what young people do. It's not even a mistake. This is not even a stigma on it. Shit happens. Young people are all hormoned up. I get it. But you don't understand that because you think like, I don't believe in a woman's right to do that. And you let someone get pregnant and you ain't ready for it. Watch how much you are in support of a woman's right then. But then you voted for Donald Trump. Don't be stupid, y'all. Oh my God. Sorry, I went off. I'm sure I offended some of you, but this is a truth. This is a truth channel, okay? This is a truth channel. This is a truth channel, TikTok. It's a truth channel. Tubers. It's a truth channel. Okay, so listen, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to go finish my Peroni. And now you know, Paul Harvey. Good day. So listen, thank you all for watching. Thank you. Listen, I've been going off. Everybody who supported us today. Steve Schilling, thank you so much. Thank you for supporting independent media. I appreciate it. What did Steve say? Steve said, keep speaking the truth. Thank you, Steve. And I can speak the truth more than I could when I was on cable and in corporate media. Thank you, Cassia, 1978. Very generous of you. Thank you for your excellent work and commitment to the truth. Voting early, I should probably put my glasses on. Voting early tomorrow with my 19-year-old daughter and my 21-year-old son. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you for that. You're the best. And for those who I didn't get to, okay? So tomorrow we're live at 5. And you know, I want to read, I want to know what you think about the show. Let me just read some of your comments before we get out of here, okay? We're with you, Don, says Roxanne Balili. Thank you for that. Anonymous, thank you. We just need to hear. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for your thoughts on everything, says Mindy Hill. Mindy, thank you. Carell says, little Trump, maybe you don't want to see this, responding to somebody else in the chat. Kerry King says, Don, people have such problem quantifying, and you're doing a number of quantifying tonight. Thank you. I appreciate it. Exuberant said, Don, I missed the Charlemagne and CNN conversation. Yeah, that was a good one. Don, you're doing a good job, says Michelle. I appreciate it. Cerise says, California red wave. Okay, California. Don't get ahead of yourself, Cerise. Yeah, whatever. Good luck with that one. Same thing in New York. You have a beautiful home, Don. Love the fireplaces, Lindsay. Thank you very much. I try for it. A lot of it has to do with I'm very well taken care of by the person who is upstairs with the dogs now listening to this. I love your show, MJ from Milwaukee. Mary Holland. Thank you, MJ from Milwaukee. All this gaslighting from MAGA is so triggering, says Diallo. Yes, it is. Thank you. Stephanie Gell, red wave in California, laughing as well. Vanessa Scott, grow up. The more you know, the more you should grow. Thank you, Lemonheads. So you can too, TikTok, be part of the Lemon Nation. We are live every day, at least twice a day on YT, on the tube. Also, it's the Don Lemon Show if you're searching. Also, Tell me what we should do for social. Tell me what we should do for election night. Because we're working out this whole thing. We're going to be in the studio, whatever. And I'm like, should we be in the studio or should we be out where the action is happening, doing what we do, which is running and gunning and getting stuff to you? Because you guys are going to be tuned in watching like the big boards, right? The magic walls and all that stuff. But you're going to be getting everybody's going to be on social media getting their stuff. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's going to be on the talk. Everybody's going to be on the tube. Everybody's going to be on the gram. Everyone's going to be on the book. Everyone's going to be on the tweeter. Right? Be where the action is, says Shorten. Candace Boyd says studio. Demetrius Cephas says studio. Go out, says Amani. Winston Sayer says La Tube. You are up to 265,000. We're trying to get up to more subscribers. We want to get to 300,000 ASAP. Go Don, says GMR. I'll be on YT, says Debbie Yvette. Okay. Live streaming from home because it's going to be very late. Maybe you're right about that. Studio, says Estella. Go out, says Michelle. I'm too nervous to watch, says Big Mom. Are you guys nervous? No studio, says Bernie C. What do you guys think about our social? Is it hitting? Are you loving it? Are you hating it? Tell me what you think about what we're doing across the country. Live stream on election day. Yeah, that's what we're thinking about. Studio, says T Matters. Go where the action is, Don, says Cassie Scotland. Yes, I'm nervous, says Ms. Ashley. Yeah, loving it. You love it. Thank you, guys. I'm glad you love it. Oh, by the way, I voted early today. I forgot to tell you guys that. Let's see. I voted early today. I just want to show you because Nikki's computer is broken. So that is me at the polling place today after I voted. There you go. Can you see me? And then the next one, me and my hubby. We both voted today. So there you go. And that's me. And then after I voted, I FaceTimed with my mom. And then after that, I FaceTimed with, look at my beautiful little great niece. I FaceTimed with her and I talked to them as I was talking to them about voting. So that's what I did today. I voted. So get your behinds out and vote. I'll see you at 10 a.m. tomorrow, okay? For our hot topics, we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. Let's see what happens overnight. I love you guys on the tube, on the U, and then the tube. And I will see you. Make sure you check out all of our social stuff. Like and subscribe, and hit that subscribe button. It is free. Okay? Bye, everybody. See you later. See you later. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure you hit the like button. It helps us with the algorithm. And also, we'd love for you to become a subscriber. So hit that button, too. We're live every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Eastern, so there's plenty of content for you to check out.